Hey everyone, it's Big Rat 310 back again. It's been a little while since I've done a video. Haven't done a wrestling video since 2014. I can't even really explain why I'm coming back. I was just kind of in the mood to talk about this show. And I've been watching, Instant Classic 8, Sanders Robin 24, have some videos on their channels that I've been watching a lot over the past few months, and it just kind of got me like back in the mood. I know our YouTube community is effectively just our Twitter community at this point, just translated from YouTube to Twitter, but nonetheless, I kind of missed doing a video, and I just thought it was a good time to come back and talk about the show because it was a very obviously unique show. As I get my things together, I won't waste too much time. Let's get right into it. We'll start with night one. I really, really like this show. I think my overall rating is probably on the high end of the range of the consensus that people have on this show. But I think it's within the range. There's certainly some people that thought the show was really good. But I was a fan. I had a lot of fun with it. Even the stuff that wasn't good, I thought was like easy to sit through. For both shows, I'll say the 3 hour format's just so much better. Like so much better. The way I'm going to do this is I will only comment in depth on like certain matches that I had a lot that came to mind, and I won't like go in depth match by match necessarily. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that I'll only comment on matches that were good because I've certainly have some comments for matches that weren't that good. Um, but yeah, I just don't want to be repeating stuff that we all know, like Gulak Cesaro. Like it was solid, it was fine. Like it was too short, but like it was fine. Like I liked it. I don't know. Don't really need to say much else. Uh, Kabuki Warriors, Bliss and Cross. I thought it was good. Some people thought it was too long. I thought it was good. Like I thought that the time helped. I thought this was a good match to open the Mania of the weekend because it was like these teams worked really really hard, did a lot of cool spots, and I think it was kind of just WWE's way of saying like, yeah, we're trying this weekend. We're not folding it in just because no fans are here. Like by showing us this long match where a lot of the wrestlers did some like pretty significant bumps. And it was just like a reminder, like, yeah, like wrestling is still going on. Even if the fans aren't there, like it is WrestleMania, like appreciate it as you can. I liked it. I know some didn't, thought it was too long. I honestly thought it was fine. I thought the Kabuki Warriors made it work. Elias Corbin, don't have much to say here. It was solid. Yeah. I don't know what else there's to say. Shayna versus Becky. So I like this match. It was fun. It was going really well. I thought it was very physical. I thought they were telling a good story until it kind of ended kind of suddenly, which is a shame. I think they could have done some really, really good stuff if they were given more of a chance. But it was still a fun match. It's funny. Like for all the build this match had, its placement in the show, it kind of just felt more like a mid card match than it did like one of the main matches of the show, which is very odd for Becky Lynch being one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star in the company, outside of like people like Brock and Goldberg, I guess. Um, I was not that surprised that Shayna lost. I tweeted before the show that I was asking kind of the people on Twitter like, what are your predicted upsets? And mine was that I thought it was pretty likely that Becky was going to win this match. Um, I just think that because Becky's facing Ronda next year, I think they wanted to keep her strong and not have her lose on Mania. Kind of like how they used the same logic to justify Charlotte beating Asuka, to keep Charlotte steady for Ronda the next year when it was supposed to be a one-on-one match at the time. I don't think this is like a requirement. Like Becky easily, I think, could have lost this match and they could have rebuilt her. But I think that's how they think, you know, unless like Ronda was involved with the match. Like if Ronda had interfered, then they could somehow, there's an excuse for Becky losing and there's a pre-established conflict that can keep the feud steady, kind of like how The Rock cost John Cena against The Miz at WrestleMania 27. But they decided not to go in that direction. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I could be wrong about this. Like, I think Shayna is going to be fine long term. Like, I think she will be Raw Women's Champion at some point. Hell, she might even beat Becky like next month. But there were warning signs that Vince maybe didn't have the highest faith in her. That was the rumor that she was supposed to win the Rumble. They changed plans. She doesn't get great crowd reactions. Um, with Vince, especially for heels, when the heel's not over, like that's a big problem. Like that's not something I think Vince is willing to look past. Like, it's one thing if you're a top babyface and you're getting booed instead of cheered. I think they view that as, sure, that's not what we want, but at least the fans care about our pushed star. But when the fans are making very little noise, I think that's when Vince gets really antsy. Kind of reminded me, like in 2018, this is kind of a minor thing, but Roman Reigns was wrestling Bobby Lashley with the winner to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And I remember we were all rooting for Bobby just because we wanted something different than the Roman Brock matches we kept getting. But I don't know, there was something about that match that when like Bobby Lashley made his entrance on Raw, it just like hit me in the face. It's like, oh, Bobby's not over, like at all. And Vince is not going to have someone this not over main event SummerSlam. It's not the same here. Like, Shayna's definitely more popular, I think, than Bobby was at the time. But it just goes to show that, like, if Vince is concerned about your reactions, like, that's a real problem that could really hinder your ability to rise up. But I think Shayna's going to be fine. I think Shayna's going to get more opportunities in the future. Shayna is probably going to be champion pretty soon. So I don't think this is a career killer or anything like that. I just think they really didn't want Becky to lose at Mania. And they kind of wanted to keep her steady. So they made the decision they did. I don't have an issue with it. I had fun with the match. Wasn't that surprised by the result. The Charlotte Rhea match actually pissed me off a hell of a lot more. But we'll get to that match in a second. Sami and Bryan. You know, I thought I would have a lot of thoughts on this, but I really don't. Like, it was fine. It was solid. I enjoyed it. I had fun. It was very physical, but it should have been given more of an opportunity. I guess in their eyes, it's just like, well, Sami's supposed to be the joke heel IC champion. We're not supposed to take him seriously. So because we're not supposed to take him seriously, he can't wrestle Daniel Bryan in a 15-minute match because it would just be a 15-minute squash. So from that perspective, I understand why the match had to be shorter, but like, don't book Sami that way. Like, give us a better match. Like, I'm stunned that empty arena. Like, not only does the company recognize that Daniel Bryan's one of their best workers, but it's like empty arena especially. Like, given how insecure the company was about these matches, you figured they would rely on Bryan to carry like a part of the show, and they just like I mean, I'm sure in their eyes it was like, oh, Bryan did his job. Like, it was a nice match, like good mid-card match. It's like it was, but it could have been a hell of a lot more if they just gave it a chance. I really liked the ladder match. Props to all those guys. They killed themselves for the fans. I thought it was really, really entertaining. I don't care about the crash pad spot. Like, yes, it was obvious, but come on. Like, come the fuck on. Like, I have a big problem with wrestling fans who thought this match was incredibly entertaining, but because of that crash pad spot, they're like, oh, now I don't think I like the match as much. It's like, come on, man. Let it go. Recognize the circumstances. But yeah, I thought the ladder spots were really cool. This match was very innovative. Like, they just did different stuff. The dynamic felt fresh. We don't really get a triple threat singles ladder match. It just never really happens. Yeah, I was a big fan of it. I thought it was really, really good. So yeah, I mean, I'm big thanks to all three of those guys for killing themselves for the fans. Kevin Seth, really good. Really happy that the match kind of felt like a big deal. In many ways, the match kind of felt like the semi-main event of the show, even more so than Braun and Goldberg did. Well, definitely more than Braun and Goldberg did. Scratch that. But like, when you look back at the weekend as a whole, like the four biggest matches on both shows kind of felt like Brock Drew, Taker AJ, Funhouse match, and Owens Rollins. Like, at the end of the day, like, that kind of felt like the four biggest matches based on how it was presented on the card. I guess you could argue Edge Orton because of the time. But yeah, I was happy they gave this match time. I really, really liked the DQ false finish, and I know a lot of people didn't. I was personally a big, big fan. I just thought it was so great because I think Brian Alvarez put this well on the Wrestling Observer Radio he did with Dave on night one. They fuck us so many times. They fuck us on these false finishes so many times. And these terrible DQ finishes, ever since they moved to the network, they just have this mentality that they can have these non-finishes in pay-per-view main events. Pay-per-view main events that pisses off the fans. And these were very rare in the pre-network era, but they've gotten so common since. Cena and Brock Lesnar, Night of Champions 2014. Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns in a Hell in a Cell match in 2018. Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match last year. Like, they do this all the fucking time. And because they know there's less consequences. Like, they can have non-finishes because they make their money off the network subscriptions now, less so on individual pay-per-view buy rates. You couldn't really do that in 2005 because you piss off the fans who won't buy the next pay-per-view. Now it's like, well, they're subscribed to the network. Like, they're going to watch the next pay-per-view anyways. And it's just frustrating. And I know there were DQ finishes before, but they were more rare. It just feels like it happens all the time now. So when that DQ happened, a lot of us genuinely believed, wow, that actually is the finish. We did not think that that was like some psych job. We really believed it because of how much they've messed with their fans over the years. It's kind of like a fun, like, meta story that I was really into. It's like, yeah, we know that we screw you guys over with these horrible DQ finishes and main event matches. So you really believe that that is the end of the match because we've done it to you so many times. And then for them to, and I just thought the psychology of the match too. It's like Seth's about to lose, he knows it, and he would rather like guarantee the loss by getting himself disqualified, but it takes away Kevin Owens' WrestleMania moment. And right after he does it, Seth is like, "Oh, what a WrestleMania moment! You won by DQ and you're on the ground." It's like, that's terrible. It's like, I just thought that was so heelish. I thought it was really well done. Like, yeah, like I'm screwing you out of your WrestleMania moment, even though it's going to cost me the match. I don't care. I just want to stick it to you. I thought it was great. I thought it was really creative. I've seen some people say, "Oh, they should have just done a regular DQ, no DQ match, start to finish." I don't agree at all. If they did a no DQ match, start to finish, they would have included the weapons the whole time. We wouldn't have gotten a lot of the wrestling that we did in the first half of the match, which in my opinion was really good. We would have lost out on all that. And I really think that spot of like Seth intentionally disqualifying himself to screw over Kevin, I just thought that was really cool. I thought it was creative, honestly. I was a big fan. I loved Kevin doing the spot off the WrestleMania sign. Kevin gets his big win. I thought this was really good. I was a big fan of this match. And yeah, the DQ thing added to the match rather than took it away, in my opinion. So yeah, 2 thumbs up. Goldberg Braun, not much to say. Terrible circumstances. Yeah, I thought this sucked. It's kind of weird because Brock and Drew kind of had the exact same match the next night, but that one, Brock and Drew didn't. Like, Brock and Drew did piss me off for different reasons, but I don't know why. Like, Goldberg and Strowman, I think it's just the circumstances. It's like this match more so than any other, like, really made the show just feel kind of worthless. It's like there's coronavirus, there's no fans. Like, Roman's not in this match. He should be in this match. And to boot, you're giving the title to a guy who wasn't even on the card to begin with. It's just like, yeah, it just really like highlighted, yeah, like, look at the terrible circumstances we're in now. And yeah, like, I thought technically nothing was wrong with the match, but just the circumstances of it all and how Braun won, it just all came off so cheap. And the Universal title was like a really well built title at one point in this company. Like, Kevin Owens had a long reign. They put it on Goldberg, one of the most protected guys in the company. They put it on Brock, who had the belt for a very, very long time before losing it to Reigns, who only gave it up because of leukemia. And then Brock got it back before losing it to Seth. The Fiend had it for a little while. And then when Goldberg squashed the Fiend and then Strowman squashes Goldberg, like, the accumulation of all of that in a row it just left this match with a really bad taste in my mouth. So yeah. Undertaker AJ, I actually don't have much to say, and this was a match that was absolutely phenomenal. Like, I thought this was excellent. I thought this was fantastic. I was a huge fan of this match. I thought the vignette worked, the gimmick worked, the presentation, the music, it was all spectacular. And if you haven't seen it, you need to see it right now. I almost don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't want to detract from how beautiful it was. I'll have a lot more to say about the next match, the next cinematic match. But yeah, this was awesome. It's freaking awesome. And I just think it's great pro wrestling, in my opinion. So yeah, I thought night one was really, really good. I gave it a 7.5. I thought it was, in my opinion, this was clearly the best WrestleMania show since WrestleMania 30 or 31. And I think WrestleMania 31 is pretty overrated. But nonetheless, like, in that 30-31 range, I really do think this was better than WrestleManias in the last few years. The pacing was great. And I just can't stand people that are like, I can't give Undertaker AJ a star rating. And it's like, why? Why can't you? A star rating is just a quantitative description of how you felt about the match. Like, it's no different than anything else. I just don't understand the logic that you can't rate this match. But I guess it's just like I would personally rate it like 4.5 stars if I could. But it seems like people don't want to rate it in comparison to other wrestling matches because it's hard to compare this match to other wrestling matches. And from that perspective, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it, I guess. It's hard to compare this 4.5-star match to a traditional 4.5-star wrestling match. That doesn't mean you can't put a rating on it. You can. It just makes it hard to compare. But what I think is so dumb are the people who don't rate it, but then they don't incorporate the quality of that match into their overall rating of the show. I've seen this a lot in reviews I've read for both nights. Like, I've seen so many reviewers, like on 411 Mania, Wrestling Inc., etc., who are just like, we can't rate these matches. And then when they rate the overall show, it's like, yeah, we really enjoyed the Undertaker AJ and the Funhouse match, but like in terms of quality wrestling matches, it's like, no, screw you. Like, those are two huge parts of the show. How can you do an overall rating for the show without incorporating two massive, massive programs? Like, that's just ridiculous. If you don't want to rate the matches, fine. I won't rate them in the description just to pacify those who don't want to rate them. But I'm incorporating them in my overall rating. Like, I think it's so stupid not to. Like, because it wasn't just a goddamn backstage promo. It's the main event of WrestleMania. Like, come on. So yeah, I thought the Boneyard match was awesome. WrestleMania 30. So yeah, really good show. Boneyard match, awesome. The Owens match, really good. Ladder match, really good. The opener was good, and then a lot of the other matches were easy to sit through. Fun, short. Really good show. No complaints. Night 2. Liv and Natalya was solid as well, similar to the opener on the pre-show match in the first show. I really like Liv Morgan. I think they really do have something with her. I think she's talented, super athletic. She gets better and better in the few matches I've seen her. They got something with her. And I think they know it too. They kind of protected her in that Elimination Chamber match. Like she along with Asuka passed out to Shayna's finisher, whereas everyone else like kind of tapped out instantly. Asuka passed out, and so did Liv Morgan. So I think they kind of know that there's something to her. Okay, the first half of the show. Oh God, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte. All right, this match was really, really good. This was, I think, very close to the best a straight wrestling match in an empty arena in a WWE environment can get. I thought it was that good. I think if a crowd were here, this would be like a 4.5-star match that would have stole the show. I really do believe that. I think it had that intensity, and people would have popped like crazy for a lot of the near falls. I thought the match was so good, so good. I love Rhea Ripley. I don't know what it is. Like, it's cliche to say it factor, but like she's got something insanely special. Like, she walks into a room and everyone just recognizes like there's something about her that is incredibly, incredibly special. And as a result of that, I was not happy that she lost this match. I defended Charlotte going over in the Royal Rumble on Twitter. Everybody complained. I defended it. I thought that Charlotte is one of the best workers in the company, and Charlotte can't keep losing every big match. I said that at the time. It's like Charlotte lost after she beat Asuka. She lost to Becky Lynch in the Evolution match. She lost to Asuka and Becky in TLC. She lost the Rumble last year. She lost in the WrestleMania main event last year. Like, she just can't keep doing this. Like, for someone that they view as like at the Roman Reigns level of the women's division, like, she needed high profile wins to keep her strong. So I was totally fine with her winning the Rumble, especially since they can make it up with Shayna in the Chamber like they did. And I thought Charlotte really, really needed that. I don't think Charlotte needed this, though. Like, I get it. Like, I just talked about how many big matches she's lost in the last few years. But she won the damn Rumble. Like, that's a big deal. Like, the Rumble, like, really, really is protected in this company. And yeah, I didn't think this was necessary. I think they have something special with Rhea, and the argument I hate because I got this a lot in my mentions, and it drove me crazy. And they do this so often in this company is, oh, Rhea will be fine. Like, they can rebuild Rhea. Rhea's career just started. Rhea can get wins back in the future. Triple H even said this, like, oh yeah, Rhea's gonna be fine. Like, she's gonna, like, nothing's gonna stop her path to greatness. Like, she's gonna get other opportunities. I know that Rhea's gonna be fine. I don't want Rhea to just be fine. I want Rhea to be something special. And so often in this godforsaken company, they sacrifice a performer's ability to be special because they recognize the downside is low. It's not that, in my bad, it's not that low. Like, they know when they beat Asuka at WrestleMania 34, Asuka's still going to be around. Asuka's still going to get main event spots on pay-per-views and such. Like, this didn't kill Asuka. It didn't kill Asuka, but Asuka could have been special if she won that match, and they prevented her from doing that. I know this doesn't kill Rhea. I know Rhea can get her heat back and can get wins back. I know all that. I know this doesn't stop Rhea from being a main eventer on pay-per-views one day. I wouldn't surprise me at all if Rhea main evented pay-per-views down the line, or even was in a high-profile WrestleMania main event in 1 year. I get that. But like, when you have something special, just don't mess with it until it's necessary. And I just don't see how the win helps Charlotte. I don't think it helps Charlotte at all to be NXT champion. The rumor is that like it would help the NXT brand for Charlotte to be champion. I just don't buy it. Like, Charlotte did a lot of spots on NXT building up to this match. None of her appearances drew that big of a rating. Like, I just don't buy it. I do not buy that they needed this. The most likely result of this is that Rhea or someone else just wins the belt back in a month or two. It's like, so why bother? And is this a high-profile win for Charlotte? Like, I understand it was a very well-promoted match, but it's like Rhea's the up-and-comer. This isn't like Charlotte beating Ronda Rousey, or Charlotte beating Asuka, or Charlotte ending Becky's streak. It's like Rhea could have used the win a lot more. And yeah, the result of this one really upset me. And I'm kind of numb to a lot of the shit they do, but this one really got to me. I really thought Rhea should have won. And I know that her career's not dead. I know she's going to be fine. But she's really special. And just don't mess with something that's special until you have to. Why is that so hard? And again, this is coming from the guy that defended Charlotte winning the Rumble. Like, I was A-okay with that. I thought Charlotte really needed that to kind of rebuild her momentum. But this was just too far, in my opinion. This wasn't necessary. If they didn't want Charlotte to lose at Mania again, don't book the match. Just my opinion. But yeah, really good match. Massive credit to Rhea and Charlotte. They stole the show. They did a really goddamn good job. Like, nothing but respect to both of these two. I really do think Charlotte's one of the best workers in this company. Like, men or women. Like, she's at that Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Asuka level. I really, really do believe that. I don't think there's very many people in this company, men or women, that are better than her. And I don't think that's commonly accepted. I think people accept that Charlotte's like really good. I think that's like pretty commonly accepted. Oh yeah, Charlotte's really good. Do we accept that Charlotte is better than any other woman in that division aside from Asuka? Because I really do think that might be true. And I don't think that's commonly accepted at all. Like, this website loves Becky. They complain whenever Charlotte wins matches. And I know I sound hypocritical because I just complained that Charlotte won this one. But I don't buy it. Like, I got someone like I think it's Real Classic on Twitter was just like, oh, like, he kind of implied in his tweet, like, oh, we know Charlotte's awesome. It's like, do we? Like, we complain whenever she goes over. I don't think that we really appreciate her as, like, best in the company level status. Like, if we're constantly complaining every time she wins, they could book Daniel Bryan to win the Rumble 3 years in a row. We would be happy. Like, we would not say, oh, like, this is overkill. No, we wouldn't care that it's overkill. Because we love Daniel Bryan that much, because we respect him as being the best wrestler in the company. So, yeah, I just don't buy that. But, yeah, Charlotte's awesome. Black and Lashley, not a lot to say. Kind of like the Corbin Elias match. It was fun, harmless. Black won. Nice. Otis Dolph, similarly, fun. I really like this storyline. I honestly don't think they fucked it up that much. Like, I've seen the storyline get some criticism by Dave and Bryan lately, which I think is weird because Bryan Alvarez praised the hell out of it back in January. I thought it was well built. Like, the Secret Santa, the Royal Rumble spots, like the Valentine's thing. I was a fan. I'm really happy they did the right thing. They gave us the Otis Mandy kiss. Yes, it was supposed to be in front of a crowd. It was supposed to get a huge pop. We all know that. It sucks, really sucks that they couldn't do it. But I just don't see what their alternative is. Save this for Money in the Bank? It's like, they might not get a crowd at Money in the Bank either. It's like, you might as well, like, I was so worried that in an effort to prolong it because they couldn't give us the kiss in front of no fans, they would do something that would make Otis look really stupid. And I would not have been a fan of that. I'm not like a huge Otis fan. I mean, I'm entertained by him, but I would really not have been okay with that at all. So I'm happy that they didn't go in that direction. And they were just like, let's just, yes, there's no fans. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's not what we want, but let's just do what needs to be done here. And I thought it was still a fun moment. Like, the commentators put it over really well. Like, Twitter, like, marked out for it. Like, I know it's kind of a virtual connection, but no less enjoyable, in my opinion. Last man standing. Good Lord. I think this match is still going on. I was a huge fan of this build. I don't just think it was like the best built match on the show, which it was. I think the promo quality, I don't want to say it was the best built match of the last 20 years, but the promo quality in this feud is up there in some of the best of the last 20 years in the WWE. Like, every promo was just excellent. Like the Orton promo with Beth Phoenix, the Edge promo the next week on Raw, the Orton and Edge back-to-back promos. I think Edge did one in an empty arena, then Orton did one that was maybe the best promo of Orton's career, and then Edge did one the very next week that was maybe the best of Edge's career. Like, the promo quality was just 5 stars, man. Match started out awesome. The surprise RKO, beating Edge up in the gym, fantastic. I love the gym spots. I thought those were all well done. Then they started brawling and brawling and brawling. I actually thought when they first entered the luxury garage area where they had all the weapons that they do for their performers, I thought at that time I was like, okay, this is fine. They can use the weapons in this garage. Like, it's kind of cool. Just went too long. It's hilarious. Like, to our good friend Trademark, who some of you may know. I was messaging him like, oh, like, honestly, like, it's going fine. It's not that bad. And then it just went too long. And it's crazy. Like, the first 20 minutes of the match, I would say, I was still defending it as like, oh, this isn't going that long. Like, it's fine. But then it went another 15 minutes and it lost me. I'm like, I will say the closing of it I thought was really nice. Edge put forth an incredible amount of emotion for that closing finish. And I think it's remarkable that he's so passionate about wrestling and so committed to doing this for WrestleMania that he was able to generate that kind of emotion with no fans there. It's incredibly impressive. The finish was well done, I thought. And I thought the first 15 minutes of the match were really good. Just went too long. And I end up leaving it just going, yeah, that was just okay. I didn't think it was terrible. A lot of people thought it was terrible. I thought it started out really well, and I thought the last minute was great. That middle, like, 20 minutes was just tough. It was just too much of the same. The mindless brawling, they needed to do more specific spots, like just throwing the punches and slamming guys into walls. When you overdo that, it can lose people with the flow of the match. So yeah, I felt bad because I can tell this meant a lot to both guys, especially Edge. I did not. I'm a big Edge fan. I did not want Edge's return to be poorly perceived by the public. You know, Edge didn't want that either. So I almost feel bad like rating it so low, but I thought it was okay. Like, probably the worst match. No, I thought the main event was the worst match in the show. But yeah, no. One thing I told Trademark at the time when it became clear that this match was not going to be good, it was like, this is the kind of match that kills a card. Because, like, I was looking at the time, it was like, it's 8:48. The match isn't ended yet. We still have 4 matches left. And this match was like a pillar of the show. It's like one of the pillars to making the show deliver is like the Rhea match, this match, and the Funhouse match. And this match did not deliver. And it's like, okay, so the second half of the card has to make up for it. But it's like, how are they going to make up for it? Because at the time, I thought the Street Profits match and the women's match would both not get a lot of time. So it's like, okay, there's 4 matches left. 2 of them are fillers, and Brock is probably going to go short, because Brock's been going short in pretty much every singles match he's had over the last 3 years, with a few exceptions. So, like, when this match bombs, it's like, well, not bombs, just like really underdelivers relative to what it should have been. It's like, okay, we'll make up for it with the second half of the card, but then you look at the second half of the card, and it's like, the second half of the card can't really make up for it. And this goes to a point, like, I was really surprised when a lot of people said Night 2 looked like the better show. I did not understand that at all. I didn't tweet it because, I think partly because I just didn't want it to be true. Like, after night one, I was like, yeah, night one's probably going to be the best show because a lot of the best wrestlers are on night one, in my opinion. And I look at night two. We'll talk about the Funhouse match, which I loved. And I was expecting the Funhouse match to not be good. So I was wrong on that. But I did not think the Brock and Drew match would be this great. What kind of Brock Lesnar matches are these people watching where they're still in the mindset that he's going to give them these 20-minute competitive singles matches? Like, when have you seen that going back to 2015 with the exception of the AJ and Daniel Bryan Survivor Series matches? Like, why do year after year people keep expecting these 20-minute main event matches and they never goddamn happen? I just don't get it. So I thought it was ridiculous that people were so hyped up for that match. And then I just look, the Street Profits match didn't seem like it was going to be that good. The five-way didn't seem like it was going to be that good. The Black match, no. Otis and Dolph would be more of a story and a gimmick than an actual match. The only two matches I thought would be good on the show were Rhea Charlotte and Edge Randy. I thought everything else was not going to be that good. I was pleasantly surprised that the Funhouse match way over delivered. But yeah, that's why I was so surprised when people thought this looked like the better card. I was like, in what world? Like, I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. That's going to sound like hindsight bias because both shows happened. But really, tell me, going into this night two card on paper, like what should have been better than it was? You know, with the exception of the Edge Orton match. If you say Brock Drew, I would just say you haven't been paying that close attention to how Brock Lesnar's matches have gone. It's almost like because Brock was awesome in the Rumble, and he was phenomenal in the Royal Rumble this year, that we kind of like forgot like our history of Brock Lesnar main event matches for the past 2 years. It's like, yes, he was awesome in the Rumble. Don't take that to mean that, you know, we're going to get the maximum Brock effort on this show, especially when Brock was complaining to Vince, rumors say, like, because his match was taking too long to film and he was in a bad mood. It's like, come on. Like, so yeah, Edge and Orton, in my opinion, looking at this card where I thought it was a two-match card, and one match absolutely delivered, it just had the wrong finish, and this match did not deliver at all, it's like, wow, that makes it really hard for this card to be good. And I think that's going to be reflected where a lot of people have kind of digging on night two a little bit, and I can't really blame them. Like Edge, Randy Orton, this was, I don't want to blame it all on them, but like that match not being great is a big part of the reason why night two wasn't as good as it should have been. Like, I'm sorry, it was so dependent on that match being special, and it wasn't. And since it wasn't, not a very memorable night two. Street Profits match, nothing to say. Thought it was fun. Thought it was fine. I think it's funny that a lot of people compare Austin Theory to Randy Orton. I saw Joey on WWE on Twitter. Follow him if you can. He's a great follow. Made that comparison, and I couldn't stop laughing because, God, I see Austin Theory, the abs, the facial expression. He's only 22. It's like, yeah, you really do get 2003 Randy Orton vibes out of that guy. Five-way match. Yeah, I thought it was fine. A little too long, longer than I thought. I wasn't prepared for it to be that long. I think if I was, I would not have thought it dragged as much as I thought it did at points. But I still liked it. I thought Sasha was really good in this match. And I liked the finish. Slow tease of Bayley Sasha, you know. Keep it it's obvious what's coming. We all know what's coming, but setting it up piece by piece I thought was the right approach. So, not going to complain too much. Like this match and the Street Profits match, it's like, and the Aleister Black match, it's like, yeah, they're all fun matches, fine. Like, just pretty nondescript. Next up, we had Firefly Funhouse. Okay, I thought this was a lot of fun. I was a really, really big fan of this. I really, really liked this style, this format, you know? The cinematic kind of matches that the Broken Universe helped usher into mainstream wrestling dialogue. I was a really big fan. I don't at all agree with Bryan Alvarez on this when he kind of said that the Taker AJ match had elements of believability, whereas this match had completely none. One, I just disagree that the Taker and AJ match was at all believable. I'm sorry, the notion that Taker could have gotten guys to put in pyro, or he could sprint so fast that he could jump out of the grave and stand behind AJ when he appears in the truck, I think that's just a little ridiculous. They stretch the bounds of reasons a little too much. But I don't think that matters. I think this is the kind of new style of wrestling where they are still telling a story between two guys, but they're doing it in a very different way. And it's supposed to be hokey. It's supposed to be unbelievable. It's supposed to be ridiculous and over the top. But within the ridiculousness, there's still a story being told underneath. And that's kind of the fun irony of these kind of matches. It's like you think it's so zany and hokey and everything's crazy, but there's a story there. There's a story there, and it's just kind of playing with the bounds and the parameters of realism allowed by pro wrestling. But they're still telling a story, and the story is still relevant and serious. So I think it's kind of like a nice contrast, like the ridiculous style with the story within it. I think it's fun, and I do think it's wrestling. I do think that Cena is trying to take out Bray Wyatt here, but Bray Wyatt is putting him through the ringer, putting him through his own personal nightmare. And Cena's unable to take him down because he's so weighed down by a lot of the things he's seeing in this horror show. And I think it works really well. I think it came off very clever. I think this match is a lot better on the rewatch because the first time you watch it, like you're so amazed by everything that's going on. It's hard to like kind of process and interrogate a lot of the story. At least it was for me. And I found the second watch made it a lot easier to understand what was going on. And the story is laid out in such a way where they highlight Cena's career, but in the build to this match, Cena talks about Wyatt being overrated. He talks about wanting to help young guys, like the NXT guys like Ciampa and all that. And Wyatt thinks he just cares about himself. And in this match, like Wyatt is highlighting that Cena, in becoming the modern age Hulk Hogan, which was obvious with the NWO Hollywood Hogan and the Saturday Night's main event lifting weights callbacks, that Cena, in kind of being that version of his character, could hurt some young guys in the process. Like Wyatt told him, egomania runs wild on you. Wyatt told him when he was Dr. Thugonomics, he would use people's weaknesses to insult and hurt them and bury other people. And it's funny, like, because they use Cena's comments about Wyatt being the most overrated, overhyped wrestler when Wyatt has Cena in the Sister Abigail, and it's really a reversal almost. It's like Wyatt's not the overrated, overhyped wrestler. Cena is. They had the chance of Cena sucks right before that spot, and Wyatt's the one taking out Cena. And again, this is a nightmare. This is not necessarily supposed to be the reality of Cena, but like that's what like is deep down like a tough realization that John Cena has to comes to grips with, and whether or not he's made mistakes along the way. And I thought the interplay on all these themes was just really, really well executed, and I was a really big fan of it. That Wyatt's side of the story is him portraying John Cena as kind of a hypocrite and someone who's done damage to younger wrestlers despite claiming to want to help them so much, and really kind of just caring more about yourself than about the future of the business. I thought it was really well done, really well executed, and I was a big fan of it. I really like these style of matches. I thought this was really, really great. The guys did an excellent job. It's creative. We'll never see anything like it. And I really hope they do more of them. I do think you can't do it every year necessarily. I think Dave Meltzer was right to say this. Like, WWE can ruin a good thing pretty quickly. Like, it wouldn't take them long to do a cinematic style that we all kind of hated. And then we'd all just be like, okay, maybe they should do less of them. But nonetheless, like this one I thought worked. I was a big fan of how everything went. I think there's a lot of replay value in this match. There's little tricks that you pick up on the more times you watch it. And that's what I think helped made it very valuable. And it kind of saved the show. It made the show a lot better than it would have been without it. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. No complaints. Titus's reaction, fantastic. Fantastic. I honestly think it added to the match. Just having that immediate like epilogue of like here's Titus like totally shocked by what he's just seen. I just thought it was well done all around. Hats off to both guys. Just great job. Main event, Brock and Drew. I already kind of said my piece about Brock Lesnar and these singles matches. They haven't really been long competitive matches, and it hasn't been that way for a long time now. And I don't know why we keep expecting them when they never happen. So I thought this match would be kind of like the Brock-Seth match last year, which is also why I didn't think it was going to main event. And it did anyways. Kind of surprising. They could have main evented with Rhea Charlotte if they wanted to. I guess with Charlotte going over, that would have been tough, but she shouldn't have gone over in the first place. You got to feel for Drew. It sucks that he couldn't have his moment in front of a big crowd. You would think that he's talented enough that it's not inconceivable that he's in another Mania main event where he'd get another chance. It won't be the first time, but he could still kind of get that experience if they like him enough. I really liked him motioning to the camera, kind of trying to connect with the fans at home, kind of saying implicitly, like, I really wish you guys were here, but I'm still very thankful. I still love you very much. This moment means a lot to me. Not just his emotion as he was making that gesture really connected with me as a wrestling fan. Like I was like really in tune with what he was trying to do. And it got to me. It was like, yeah, I mean, it does suck that we can't be there for you, but like we do support you. Um, and yeah, I really was very happy they did the right thing. Could they have waited? Maybe, but again, there's just so much uncertainty. Like the problem is, if they knew exactly when they can start shows again, I think they might have done some different things. Because when you can exactly plan, okay, we can start early May or we can start July. When you know the exact date, it's easier to lay out a schedule and book the matches accordingly. But when you really don't know when it's going to be and you can just get the power to run shows in front of a crowd at any moment, well, not in the short-term future, but you get the general point. That's what makes it hard. That's what makes it hard to kind of plan. Like they don't know if they need to plan till SummerSlam for this, or if they just need to wait another month and a half. Like they don't know. So I kind of understand just getting it out of the way, doing it while you can. Brock is really expensive, so probably not wanting to bring Brock in for another date makes sense too. So yeah, like I said, even though the Strowman match was spot for spot the exact same match, I kind of like this one a little better because Drew was built for this spot. You know, it makes sense that he would squash Brock. He won the Rumble. He's been heavily promoted for months. So, like, the story of him squashing the champion is fine with me. Whereas Braun Strowman squashing the champion in a match he didn't deserve and squashing a guy who had just squashed another guy right before that, like, to me, even though it's the same list of moves, the story is much worse in Braun squashing the champ than it is for Drew, which is why I gave the matches 2 different star ratings, despite being the same style. But yeah, it was decent. Like, glad they did the right thing with Drew. And then we move on. So yeah, overall, really liked night one. Thought night one was really good. I thought night two was okay. You know, I enjoyed it. Nothing was hard to watch, really. Obviously, portions of the Last Man Standing match were, but the rest of the filler, there's a lot of Mania shows where the filler is just like bad matches, like sub 2-star matches. And none of these matches really were like that. They were all solid, easy to sit through. So I'm not going to criticize the show too much. I thought it was all right. And night two was all right. Night one was really good. Overall, I enjoyed the weekend. I had fun. WWE put a smile on my face. And yeah, I had fun as a wrestling fan, and that's all I can ask for. All right, take it easy, everyone. See ya.